So this was your test. It was the 2011 paper. It's the section A. So you remember there's two sections to your paper. There's a section A and there's a section B. And the section A is called Concepts and Skills. There's usually 6 questions. And they're short in nature, what we would describe as short in nature. So it says here, you can see the points A and B are shown in the diagram, and you're asked to find the equation of the line A and the equation of the line, the equation of the line AB. A good first step, and you can see that I've got it done already, is actually just to draw in the line, so it gives you something to look at. When we see the equation of the line AB, you should be thinking that there are 2 ways that you can tackle this. Y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1, or y is equal to mx plus c. So that's what should pop into your head. Either way, you can see here for both methods, you're going to have to calculate the slope anyway. All right. So that's what I'm going to start by doing. When it comes to slope, again, we've got 2 ways. We can read it, or just say read it from the graph, or we can use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Is that going off the screen, Tiz? Okay. So we can use either of those 2 there. Alright. So I'm going to start with reading from the graph. So I'm going to take this over here. This is my start point. Doesn't matter where my start point and where you choose as your start and finish. If it goes through the axes, very often it's handy to use the axes as the start and finish. So I'm going to travel up, so that's plus 2, and I'm going to travel along here, and that's plus 4. So when we're putting our slope together for that, we say that slope is equal to the vertical over the horizontal. So the vertical in this case is 2, the horizontal is 4, so it's 2 over 4, which in your calculators shrinks down to 1 over 2. So there's your slope. Just to finish it off this way, so if you were to use your graph, well, y is equal to mx plus c. What does the c value represent? It's where it crosses the y-axis. As you can actually just see that really clearly there, it crosses it really simply just at minus 2. So if y is equal to mx plus c, y is equal to a half x minus 2. If you wrote that down, you're getting full marks. Okay. So what if you decided to do it the other way? What if you decided to base it all on formulas? Formulae, whatever. I'm just going to slide this over a little bit here so you can see, so I've got some space. So you could have taken the 2 points, so 6, 1, x1, y1, and the other point is b, which is 2 minus 1, x2, y2, and you could have used the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Filled it all in. Minus 1, minus 1. 2 minus 6. Into your calculator and let it simplify it, you'll get a half. Once you've got the slope, you're going to use this point, and I'm only just picking that point because I've already got it labelled x1, y1. That's the only reason, for no other reason. And I'm going to use my slope of a half. So y minus y1, which is 1, so y minus 1 is equal to a half x minus 6. You can tidy that up any which way you want. I'm going to multiply the half in here and here. So I'll have y minus 1 is equal to a half x, and a half by minus 6 is minus 3. And then just to finish it off, y is equal to a half x minus 3 plus 1. So, and you can see there that that matches the other version of the formula over here. So it doesn't matter which way you decide to do it, your answer is going to come back to be the same. So, quick recap, what do you need to remember? When you see the equation of a line, there are 2 things that you should be thinking. You've got 2 ways to tackle a question like this. Y minus y1 is equal to m by x minus x1, or y is equal to mx plus c. Doesn't matter which way you decide to do it, you're going to have to calculate the slope, And we've got two ways to calculate the slope then as well. You can read it directly from the graph, or from the xy axis, or you can use the slope formula. And depending on the question, sometimes you just have to make a call on which one is most appropriate. So the next part of the question, part B, says the line AB crosses the y-axis at C. Find the coordinates of C. There it is there. You've already actually marked it out. But it does say find the coordinates. So if you wrote down -2, you won't be getting full marks. Okay? You must give the coordinates. So if this is the point that I'm interested in, well then the x value is 0 and the y value is -2. So to get full marks, you must give the full coordinate. Part C of the question. People can be a little bit put off by it just at the beginning, before I show you the solution. What do you need to remember, or what tends to throw people off? These symbols here, the two bars, they mean length or distance. So that implies that you're going to use the distance formula. It does say giving your answers in the form P over Q, where P and Q are whole numbers. What that tells you is that you would excuse me, you'd expect the thing to simplify for you into a fraction. But if you're not quite sure what it means, but you do recognize that this is telling you to do the distance formula twice, then just go ahead and do that. Okay? And don't get fussed by the stuff that you don't understand. So, I'm just going to take one side of it there for a second. Distance formula. Take down your 2 points. That's A and B. So this one here is A and B. Distance formula. Now I should have written it in, but I didn't. The distance formula from your log tables, it's the square root x2 minus x1 to be squared plus y2 minus y1 to be squared. So that's what's happening here. And these were just my notes, so they're probably a little bit shorthand. So you'll get root 20. And then when you do the other side, you'll notice here you've got A and C. Label them x1, y1, x2, y2, pop them into the formula, and you'll get root 45. This bit here tells you put 1 over the other. So I just put root 20 over the square root of 45. Use your calculator. Your answer will be 2/3. So nothing too difficult about any of that. Okay, the next question that you had then was the 2012 sample paper. Again, it was a question on the line, but it actually mixed in a little bit of work on the circle. So it starts off, I'll just show you the question and you can see the answers anyway, it makes no difference. It's about the discussion of how I got those answers is what's important. You've got 5 lines and they're shown to you here. You'll notice there's no indication as to what the scale on the xy axis is. And in fact, it doesn't really make too much difference because the question doesn't ask you to get the equations of the lines or anything like that. What it does ask you to do is to match up the lines with the value of slope that you think it might go with over here. So, to me, the first and most easiest one is this one here. A slope of 0 means that the line is flat. So that's L. So that's that one ticked off. That's sorted. For me then, the next thing that I would do is, well, both of these lines here, they're both positive. Now, if a line is positive, well, that means when I draw it, it looks something along those lines. Okay, it can be very steep. It can still be quite shallow. It could be very close to 0, whatever it is, but it will be increasing as it moves from left to right. Now, the rate of how it increases may vary, but it will be increasing as it moves from left to right. So what I do then is, so which 2 lines are increasing? That would be K and M. I just have to make a call now on which one is steeper, this one or that one, and then decide, am I going to put it with 2 or put it with 1/8. So the other thing that I would have told you about this is that, I don't know whether you remember this or not, I drew a little scale and I said 0 here, and what does the slope look like at 0? Well, it looks flat. And then put 1 here and the slope will look like that. And then I extended it right out, not to scale, to 10, and it will look like that. So in other words, the further away I go from 0 in the positive direction, the steeper the slope is going to be. So apply that over here. The two numbers I'm dealing with are 2 and 1/8. So the bigger the number, or the further the number is away from 0, the steeper the line it represents. So 2 is clearly further away from 0 than 1/8. K is the steeper line, so that's why I'm putting K with 2, which means M must go with 1/8. As far as the two negative slope lines go, well, exact same idea. These are both negative. So the things that we would have seen about negative lines are this. So all of these lines are negative. Okay? They just have varying slopes. Let's go the other side of that line. If I've got 0, -1, and then off up here somewhere -10. Well, the slope of 0 will be flat. The slope of -1 will look like that. The slope of -10 will look like that. So again, you've got this idea that the further away you go from 0, even in the negative direction, the steeper that slope is going to be. So let's try and apply that here. You've got -1/4 and -1. Which one is further away from 0? Well, -1 is further away from 0 than -1/4. So that means that represents the steeper of the two lines. So that represents M, which means the other one would have to be J. So the last part then of that question ties in a little bit of the stuff you've been working on in circles. So the diagram shows 4 circles of equal radius. The circles are touching, and the equation of C1. So the first circle, this is C1 down here. It's x squared plus y squared is equal to 9. So we know that that's of the form x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So straight away from here we know that the radius is equal to the square root of 9, radius equals to 3, which is the first thing that we actually get asked. Now, you can see I've already got it marked in here on the diagram. If this is a radius of 3, and I'm told all the circles have equal radius, well then this is 3. This is 3, this is 3. So how do I get to this point out here? Well, I could travel along here and then travel up. That's 6, 6. So there's where my point 6, 6 is coming from. And finally then, write down the equation of C3. So that's this circle here. Well, you can see the answer, but where did I get that from? Well, we know that it's x something squared plus y something squared is equal to r squared. And we know that these somethings that are here, well, that actually just represents the center of the circle. But I've told you that when you go to pop them in, you just have to change the sign. So if this is 6, 6, this would be a -6 and a -6. And if the radius is 3, well, 3 squared is 9. So that's where your answer is coming from here. So there's two questions. They were your test questions. The first one that we did was the 2011 question, and the second one was the 2012 sample.